Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to Warship Gunner 2. Today I have a slightly different kind of episode. This is going to be post-commentary because I didn't want to take up a whole bunch of time and episodes just replaying missions that we've already seen on normal. So you can see now I'm switching the difficulty to normal, and we are going to go through and do all the missions that we have done up to this point in normal difficulty. This is my first time doing post-commentary, so if it's a little awkward, I'm sorry. But, you know, gotta try new things every now and then, right? So we're going to start off with 070 because 060 has a lot of battleships, and on normal difficulty can be really tough to do with just a destroyer, so we'll come back to that one in a little bit after we have a cruiser. So, something I wanted to point out with this next clip here, right there it is. Wait, nope, there it is, yeah. Parts and funds are more commonly dropped on normal difficulty or higher, and health and ammo are less commonly dropped. So, now moving into the rewards for that mission, we have our S rank. You can see the S rank is no longer grayed out because we played the mission on normal. There it is. Every mission has its own unique S rank reward. And this time it is the System Auto Fire Extinguisher 2. And I wanted to go ahead and include any other recovered items that we got, because those could be important. Maybe you were wondering where you got, you know, those things, and now you see there they are. So next we're going to go back to the dock and see what development we got completed. Again, wanted to leave this in here just so everyone could be on the same page and up to speed as to where I am and what I have and how I got this and how I got that, so no one gets lost. And I went nice and slow through these development completes because I wanted you guys to have time to read them. But I figured this would take a lot less time to do it this way than to actually sit down and record all of those missions, especially since we've already seen them. So, and now we're going to go design a cruiser because we have everything we need to do so. So this is where I get to talk a whole bunch. So we're going to select our cruiser. We went with the German cruiser, as you may remember from our R&D. And we are going to pretty much design it the same way we do a destroyer. A couple of things that we will be changing for this one. Well, I guess I'll wait until we get to those parts before I try to talk about them. It'll be easier if you can see what I'm talking about the same time that I'm talking about it. So I like having a lot of guns on the ship, but I also like having a good amount of armor. So I'm trying to get a lot of guns without sacrificing like a good amount of guns without taking up too much weight, because I want to have armor on the ship. I want to have decent armor. So I usually go main guns on the front first, and then the forward bridge, and then the smokestacks. For cruisers, I recommend 8 to 10 boilers because you're probably going to need them for having a decent speed. So I tried to do, by the way, really nice like fade transitions and stuff like I usually do, but lately the program Movie Maker has been giving me some issues where it won't let me, like most of the time when I try to do a fade transition, one of the two clips involved in that transition will suddenly become magically corrupted or something, and I can't use it in the editor. Like I can't render the video with that file sitting there, even though it was fine a second ago. And that only seems to happen when I try to put transitions in. So I already had a version of this episode clipped together with the nice fade transitions, but when I went to reopen the project file and do this narration, well, the whole thing was corrupted because all of them had fade transitions. So I had to re-put all of the clips together and do the cuts as just rough cuts because I couldn't do any nice transitions. Again, I wish I had a nicer editor, but I just can't. So maybe someday I'll be getting Sony Vegas or something nice like that. I'm familiar with Sony Vegas already. I've used it in my high school video class, so I know how it works, and I know the ins and outs of it, to some extent at least. So, gonna go through the ever tedious machine gun and, in this case, high angle gun placements. High angle guns they're the same caliber and size as, like, so we're gonna be using, you'll see in a minute, we'll use the 12.7 centimeter high angle guns. They're the same size and caliber as the 12.7 centimeter main guns, but for some reason they are significantly smaller and have way more ammo. Even though it's literally the same gun, it can just shoot a lot higher. So I don't know how that works, but I'm not going to complain. They are mainly good for anti-aircraft, but if you get close enough to a bunch of enemy ships and you hold L2 for auto engagement mode, they'll actually fire at the enemy ships as well. And because they are 12.7 centimeter cannons, they're still pretty darn effective. And because you usually have a lot of them, they do really good damage as well. So, very useful. I also put some new anti-sub rockets on the sides up there, and here, oh yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. So we're going to be putting our high angle guns into weapon slot 6, and the reason for that is because we have that auto countermeasure system, and that extends our auto fire slots by a certain amount. For auto countermeasures 1, you get 1 extra auto fire slot, and for 2 and 3 it's the same thing. You get 2 more, and then you get 3 more respectively. So we're going to go put on auto countermeasures 1. And if we go back to our weapons, we can see that weapons 6 and 7 are now both blue. So they are both auto fire and will both automatically fire at aircraft, which is super useful. Also, when firing an aircraft, the high angle guns use flak shells instead of just regular cannon fire, so they don't have to be direct hits, which makes them even better. Cruisers can have aircraft launchers on the backs of them, or, well, anywhere. Generally on the back, because that's the most out of the way. But they can have aircraft launchers and aircraft on the backs of the, or on the ship. Only certain types of aircraft can take off from cruisers and battleships, or really anything that's not a carrier or a battle carrier. And those are labeled as such when you're going to do research. I think I talked about that when I was researching our first plane in the last episode or 2 episodes ago or whatever it was. So you'll have to check the parts details section and of the plane and see if it has the word CV underneath it. Or no, CA, I'm sorry. CA is cruisers. And we're going to put the plane on. I chose a fighter because fighters have machine guns for dealing with aircraft and bombs for dealing with surface targets. So they are dual purpose in that regard, which is nice. And I'm just letting the camera pan around here and get a good look at the cruiser with its really nice looking wooden deck. I like that a lot. And now we're going to head into 060, I think. Yes, now we're going to go do 060, which is the mission that we did not want to try with the destroyer, because it would have been way too hard. I didn't record the mission because it would have been, you know, we've already seen it. So here are the rewards. We're going to get our S rank. It was, the worst that they did to me damage-wise was not quite half health. They didn't quite get me down to half, but somewhat close. So there's the S rank reward. Not all that useful, but completion and all of that. So, and we got a rank up, Silver Swan 11. That is pretty important. So now we're going to go back to the dock, do some more, check out more development that we got done, and that's right, I forgot to research stuff before I went into that mission. So we didn't actually get any development done, but we're going to go do some R&D now. And start off with some systems, auto load. Makes your guns shoot faster, actually makes any of your weapons shoot faster, which is always good. Firing delay makes the spread not so crazy. And I figured I might as well go ahead and take auto countermeasures level 2, just in case I end up needing that sometime in the near future. Take level 1 of all the defense systems, go into engines and take a look down here. I'm getting battleship boilers because we should be getting a battleship very, very soon, so I want to make sure I'm prepared for that. Upgrade our steam turbines, and finish off the smokestacks. And my chair is putting in its 2 cents as well. Double checking the explosives category to make sure there aren't new and better anti-sub weapons. Going into the main cannons category, we see that 28cm guns, there they are, 28cm guns are required for us to have more barrels and a higher caliber of the 25.4cm, but in order to get the 28cm guns, we have to have Battleship Tier 1 researched. So even though we're going to be getting a battleship from an S-rank reward pretty soon, it's around this time that I'm going to start trying to rush down to Battleship Tier 1 as soon as possible, so that when, at least, you know, shortly after we get our battleship from the S rank, we will research Battleship Tier 1, and then go ahead and research the 28cm guns, which cannot go on a cruiser, which is why they're locked behind getting Battleship 1 first. You can't even put them on a cruiser, but you don't want to just have a battleship with 25cm guns like for the rest of the game. So from this point out in R&D, I'm pretty much just going to be rushing straight down to Battleship 1, trying to get that, which requires us to get CV Tier 1, which is Carrier Tier 1, and then I believe up to Cruiser Tier 6 before that. So there's quite a lot to do before we can get Battleship Tier 1. One more look in aircraft here. I want to go and take a look at all the different scouts that we have. You can see I'm going kind of quick because I didn't think to mention it while I was recording this, but underneath the image of the plane are all of the types of ships. The ones that are lit up are the types of ships that the plane can go on. So CA and BB are lit up for all of these float planes. They can be launched from cruisers and battleships, but not from carriers. So if you're going to try to get a plane for your cruiser or battleship, make sure that those little boxes are lit up underneath the name. One more look around in the systems, and pretty much just looking for anything else I can spend a little bit of extra money on. Why not some new turbines? Those will be useful. And that is that. I think next we're going to pretty much just jump straight into the rewards for 080. 080. Yep, we're going to start 080, and then after the next cut we're going to be checking out the rewards for 080. And there we go. Again, the missions aren't drastically harder. Most of them are not drastically harder. So S-rank reward was a 57mm revolving gun. Probably not going to use it, but if you can get a bunch of them, they're good for anti-aircraft. So let's go back to the dock, see what development we got. We got our battleship boilers, a couple of planes. The Seahawk is the one that we want. And that is it. And I forgot to do more R&D again. But next time, we will be picking up with the rewards for Mission 100, so see you then.